back.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Don't worry. My friend's been telling me that all week. Your hair, your hair, your hair. Get out my face.
They're getting behind the scenes a little bit. I think
Oh,
this is live, Chief.
exactly. What's up, everybody? This is Dave's House with Beyond the Buzzer live here on I-95 Sports and also Blackjack TV tonight because we're actually switching networks tonight. I'm your host, Dane Thompson, checking with you live tonight here on Blackjack TV, I-95, and Facebook Live. So for the next hour, I guess if you could caught me your last 10 seconds, we're going to be talking live sports with some of the best topics and also some of the best conversation around with myself and my main man to the right of the screen, the student of the game himself, Mr. Kyle Nash. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, great to be aboard. Listen, don't be self-conscious about your hair conversation. It shows us all that you're a mortal man and that sometimes you don't always have the opportunity to see Corey at Mentality Barbershop, and you're just not as fresh and clean as you normally would be, and that's okay. You're going to come back at some point with a sheen that we come to love on that dome. It's going to be great.
Yes, they also Mentality Barbershop because I'm going to go see Corey at 2611 Pine Hills Road in Orlando, Florida. Check them out, my man Donald. Lisa J, the entire team over there. Like I said, it's the best barbershop in Orlando. Trust me, when you see me on Monday, I won't look like this. Also, at the same time, check out our good friends at Valor, and you see them in the corner at itsvalor.us. Arguably the best when it comes to social media marketing. Also, if you're trying to get you or your business, or also if you're an entertainer or in the music industry, trying to get yourself out there, those are the guys that get taken care of. Big shout out to our good friend Cliff Savage as well, too. If you do GIFs like I do, and I do them pretty well from what I've been told, Cliff Savage had one of the most highest, one that has started having GIFs over the last couple of weeks. He's one of the artists over at Valor, and has hit over 1 million downloads of his GIFs in only a couple of weeks.
That's a lot of peanut butter. Or do you mean GIFs?
2 points. You said it, sir. So also, if you're on Facebook Live and you want to leave a comment, question, or concern, or my art teacher would say, headache or heartburn, leave it there. And then we'll read it on air as well, too. So, Kyle, before we get in tonight, what jersey you got on tonight?
Well, tonight would be obviously the Denver Broncos, number 47. Do you have a guess there, Danny?
I'm not going to say Steve Atwater.
No, you're not. But I think he was 20-something. Anyway, no, but the punchline is he's the current and rather successful GM in the early part of his career.
John Lynch.
There he is. Welcome back to the show, Danny Thompson.
Oh, of course. Big shouts are good for Alex Fleming in the chat. Will there be an NFL season this year? Well, now which season? He said will be a season. Are we talking NFL or college football? Because we'll jump into that, right?
We answer all those for all the sports. Let's do the thing.
Let's start with the NFL. Since you brought it up, Alex, let's bring the first topic of the night. And the topic of the night is brought to you by our good friends at Valor, or otherwise we call the What's the Buzz section, because this is the buzzword of the night. It's all about the NFL tonight. Check out It's Valor at itsvalor.us. And so Alex's main question was, will there be a season? Well, it ain't looking good so far. We've had, 13 players? I want to say it was Alabama, Kyle, that tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, if you're talking college, what I can confirm for you around the two I've heard from the American Conference are 6 players for Houston, 3 players for UCF, and I think FSU had a couple too.
So we're starting to get COVID across the country. This is not good.
The numbers in the state of Florida are even jumping in particular.
It's Texas. Thank you, Alex. So it's 13 players from Texas, along with a whole bunch of other players. Now, as far as the NFL side goes, Ezekiel Elliott had has caught COVID-19. So what does this mean so far? Are we going to have a season? College football is a scary proposition right now. The NFL, listen, the NFL will still kick off on September 4th, September 5th, or whatever day we're talking, September 10th, whatever day we're talking about.
The first Thursday after Labor Day.
Thank you. The first Thursday after Labor Day, Kansas City will be kicking off at home, okay? The only way this season gets shut down is if we have a serious outbreak of COVID. A serious outbreak. We're talking not just 1 or 2 players. We're talking about 20 to 25 players. It has to spread like wildfire like the NBA did. Remember, when it started spreading like wildfire, after Rudy Gobert caught it, then a couple members of Jazz had it. Then you got to realize who are the Jazz players around. Then you start seeing guys like Christian Wood among other players. The Nets players had 3 or 4 Nets players that caught it. Once it starts spreading like wildfire, then the season gets shut down at that point. Mm-hmm. But as of this taping and this live show on June 18th, I expect to see fans. I expect to see TV cameras. And I also expect to see helmets that remind me of Master Chief from Halo on the NFL side.
Oh my goodness. So, well, let's start with the NFL concept. I'm with you. There's nothing at this point to see a disruption for the NFL in particular. What I will say is this: the NFLPA did release a statement talking about they're following advice for Dr. Fauci that you're seeing in the regular updates that are out there in the media on a regular basis and all of that. There's also been whispers that they're looking into, or they're worried. I shouldn't say worried. The possibility of a bubble alternative is being explored in the instance that the numbers remain bad. So I say all that to say that instance of the bubble and then looking into that. I mean, give the NFL credit; they're looking that far ahead. Good. If they're looking into that bubble, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it's another entire set of franchises coming to Orlando or whatever that is, but they're starting to form that plan. Nothing's actually been released on it, but I'll put it this way. We're both right at the moment as of this taping that the NFL is assuming that everything will be all systems go, but they got their eye cocked on it, and that could change this time a month from now, right?
Now it's interesting. We mentioned the word bubble. Like, where would you put this bubble? I mean, Orlando, of course. I mean, I know, no offense to everybody. Orlando has one of the only facilities in America or sites that can do multiple sports. Now, Wild World Sports, for those who've never been, is a humongous complex. Correct. Now, we've watched the NFL do Pro Bowl practices literally right beside each other. On top of that, they have flag football tournaments on the other side. They can put goalposts in. Now, mind you, they don't have places for stands. They have 2 areas where fans can sit, but you can basically use those fields as NFL fields. The real question with a bubble for the NFL is, does Disney, I know this is a crazy question, will Disney have enough places to sleep for all these NFL teams if we're talking a bubble? Because remember, the NBA is only taking 37 players or 37 team members for the 22 teams that are coming.
Right.
NFL, we're talking 53 men, coaches, coordinators, equipment staff, personnel, security. You're talking almost 100 people. Will Disney have over 3,000 hotel rooms? I'm gonna say 4,000, because you got TV people. You're gonna also have to have places for the NFL executives and everybody else that's going to be here. Does Disney have 4,000 hotels at that quality level, high quality level in that area? I'm not saying put them in Kissimmee. Don't nobody want to say Kissimmee. But what I'm saying is you have 4,000 people on the Disney property, and then we gotta have all these workers. Like I mean, that is something. If that were to happen, the NFL would have to shut down everything with Disney at this point.
I mean, well, the good news, I shouldn't say the good news. The thing that's logistically favorable is the park has not opened yet, as they had originally planned. The numbers are still high. They've kind of pushed back opening. And for those who haven't heard around here, the other areas around are taking cues from Disney. Like, for the local populace, when Disney closed, you could speak to this, Danny. When Disney closed, that's when ish got real about COVID and quarantine and all that. So now that Disney has delayed closing, there's a local ordinance in Orange County in the city of Orlando that masks are required. If you are walking around without a mask, you could be served a fine. So that's how serious they're taking it here on a local level, right? But the room, the question about the facilities is an interesting one. Do I think Disney has more than 4,000 hotels on property? Absolutely. Do I have any reason to believe that the entire property is completely vacant? No, of course not. So, I mean, it will be a logistical challenge without any question. But if there's an organization that can accommodate it, Disney would be among them. Because and for anyone who's looking, real quick, Dan, I'll get this done. With the Las Vegas being another possible option, let's say, for bubbles, as I believe it was the WNBA that's doing that, right?
No, they actually had it down to Bradenton, IMG.
Okay, cool. I forget who was having their bubble work done in
it could be the NHL.
That's what it was. The reason why that's more difficult is all the hotels there aren't under one banner like they would be with Disney. So that'd be a whole other nightmare. I still think Disney's the best bet. Do they got it? I guess We'll find out, I suppose, because somebody in Disney, in the Disney offices, has a bunch of charts. Okay, 1, 2, they're finding out that answer right now.
Exactly. So also, for those who've been watching, who've been seeing the news reports, there have not been 262 cases of COVID at Orlando International Airport. Okay. It was a misread report by Governor Robert DeSantis, that he said that 262 cases of COVID had been at MCL Airport, which is Orlando's major airport here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was only 2 cases out of 500 people tested. It was 2. The number 262 came because they're going back all the way to March. Okay. So there was 130 something plus cases at some parts of different members of the airport. Also, I think it was 120 something people over at the rental car places. It ended up being 262 by the time it was all counted together. So before everybody gets alarmed flying into Orlando Airport, it was only 2 cases. Yes, it's 2 out of 500, but 2 sounds a lot better than 262. Okay.
2 out of 500 is like literally a 20th of a percent. No, a fifth of a percent.
It's a lot. 20% is a lot better than over 50% of the employees that were tested.
That's
okay. Before we continue, on the NFL side of news today, so the NFL's had 2 interesting moves today.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with Jamal Adams, Pro Bowl safety, multiple time safety, and Kyle. We spoke to Jamal over at the Pro Bowl. One of the more entertaining players in the NFL, Jamal Adams, has formally requested a trade to get out of New York City to get out of the Jets. See you later. All right. Here's the problem. Jamal Adams is a Pro Bowl safety and should be worth everything that the Jets are asking for. Jamal Adams is a contract year. So, Kyle, he's given a list of teams that he wants to play for. It's about like 6 or 7 teams. Ravens, Cowboys, your 49ers,
yes,
the Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Houston Texans. All right. So out of those logical destinations, where do you see him going up or ending up if the Jets can somehow maneuver him? Or is he worth a number 1 or a number 2 or a number 4?
So what people need to remember about Jamal Adams, and in particular the safety position in the NFL, the elite safety is not a thing right now in this current group, right? Like if I were to ask you point blank, who's the best safety in the league, Danny, who you got?
Jamal Adams is at that list, the top of that list.
They got the thing, though, right? I mean, the days of having everybody having an Ed Reed, a Troy Polamalu type of some sort, like not necessarily Hall of Fame level, but at least 1 or 2 notches down to be like, let's say like a Jarius Byrd type or something like that.
He's solid.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody down to that level. Harrison Smith. Those guys, like I think we've gone through the list of huge. I think Kenny Vicario is a good one too. But we're nearing, like that's it. I've said 5 names. There's 32 teams. This safety position is not what it used to be. Not to say that there aren't guys that aren't worth their money or aren't playing well, but there will not be a Hall of Fame safety for the next decade. Not eligible because I know we got to go back 5 years for that, but like 2020 isn't producing any Hall of Fame safeties when they retire.
Are we talking Earl Thomas? Does Earl Thomas have a candidacy maybe?
The reason why, well, no, Earl Thomas is already retired, but
no, he's still playing. Is he retired? I think he's still playing for the Ravens.
Is he? Okay.
I mean, he's been in the news, so.
I mean, look, yeah, I'll be honest. But he's a guy. Listen, he's a guy that, and well, he's not a first ballot guy, is he? You
know what though? Actually, you know what? We're missing one safety, and that is Derwin James, the Chargers.
But he's not retiring anytime soon.
Oh, no, it's his 3rd year. So
I can make an argument for Minkah Fitzpatrick, but everybody will tell you left, right, and center that he's a better corner than a safety, right?
Well, he was a monster at safety last year. He was a monster.
I agree, but the long the short is the list of safeties ain't big. And Derwin James and Minkah Fitzpatrick, they're not retiring anytime soon. So if we're talking that from potential Hall of Famers, like what we had in the past decade with, the Palomalus and the Ed Reeds and cats of that sort, they ain't built like that right now. Like if it be, you mentioned the quarterback position in the NFL is getting kind of saturated. We're currently experiencing a safety drought. The only position that I could argue is taking a bigger step back is probably running back, right?
So in Jamal Adams' case, so there's 7 teams after him. All right. So on this list, before Jamal Adams even touches any of them, Kansas City, Baltimore, and the San Francisco 49ers are all Super Bowl contenders. Okay. All right. The Dallas Cowboys, they can't even win their own division. All right. So, but Jamal Adams makes the Cowboys a Super Bowl contender. He's that good of a player.
Maybe. I mean, listen, if the Cowboys are making the transition to a run-first offense, going through Zeke, an O-line that isn't as good as it used to be, but is good enough, and is good enough to provide a play-action opportunity, be it Dak Prescott or Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle himself, with Cooper doing his thing at receiver, that's not bad. And we talked about the revamp on the Cowboys defensive line, DeMarcus Lawrence and that group of veterans that is going to be dangerous.
And then you get an elite level safety back there that, you can't throw on. That's going to make the pass rush even more dangerous. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles have always been known for defense.
Correct.
You add Jamal Adams to that defense, that makes the Eagles defense even stronger. I think but you can even say a top 5 defense gets even better. The Seattle Seahawks is on the list as well, too. Guess what? You add him, and they can somehow get Jadeveon Clowney to return. Guess what? The Seahawks are right back there as long as Russell Wilson can find Greg Olsen and figure out, because that might be the best tight end he's had in years, even better than Jimmy Graham. It is what it is. The Seahawks become even better. Now, the one team on this list of 7 is real interesting is the Houston Texans.
Yeah, you stopped and slowed when you said that. And first of all, you need to separate your analysis abilities from your hatred of Bill O'Brien. I'm going to start there.
It's not. Listen, if they had DeAndre Hopkins and you add Jamal Adams, listen, you got something. You're cooking with Crisco at this point.
First of all, can we talk about a set of drills that I would just love to sit and watch with my popcorn? Right?
Oh, no, DeAndre Hopkins. You got to think safety versus elite level wide receiver all day. I'm taking Hopkins. I take Hopkins over most corners in the NFL.
It's still
about 95% of them.
Still be fun to watch.
It would be fun. Yeah, but the thing is, Jamal, if you're the Texans, you really can't make this trade. Like, you really can't acquire assets for a guy that's going to walk out the door. Because if you think Deshaun Watson's going to sit in this pocket much longer in Houston, I got something for you. All right. I got some lottery numbers for you on this one. Deshaun Watson, unless they give this man $200 million, he is not staying in Houston. All right.
Well, I see where you're going, but let me give you something to just think about. And
you just traded his star wide receiver for a pack of juicy fruit.
Hang a minute now. I'm just hear me out, Danny Thompson.
Go ahead.
If you throw enough money at Deshaun Watson, maybe he will stay. I agree with you. It'll take a ridiculous contract to do that. You lock him down. You sign Jamal Adams then upon his arrival. Yeah, I know he's in the contract year, but there's nothing to say that the Texans can't extend him. Now you've secured the captain of both sides of your defense. There's something to be said for that. Now, will that leave enough money to keep J.J. Watt in the building? Okay, that's another conversation. But at the end of the day, you got Watson to captain one side. You got Jamal Adams to captain the other. There's something to be said for that approach, especially if you're going to find yourself against the wall with a cap issue. Having guys that are on each side that are the clear leaders of those sides of their respective sides of the ball can take young guys that are going to be brought in to fill gaps and try to make some sort of cohesion as they bring in new guys to beef themselves up to fill whatever departing veterans such as J.J. Watt could happen. I'm not saying you can replace J.J., but
listen, if the Texans pay anybody before they pay J.J. Watt, unless it's Deshaun Watson, they'll probably burn the stadium down.
Listen, you're talking to the wrong guy with that. I mean, I don't have all my things up here, but there's a reason why I got a J.J. Watt Lego figure back here usually, man. I'm just saying.
I know. We know. For those who never watched the show, Kyle is the president, CEO, as well as the staff writer for the J.J. Watt fan club, by the way.
I do liberally use the word fan crush applied to him.
It is what it is. Also, other NFL news now. This is on the other side of the ball. Now, Kyle might not be too happy with this one, but San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel broke his foot today.
Yeah.
He's going to be out 12 to 16 weeks. We hope he gets back in speedy recovery. Now, this means the rookie Brandon Ayuk is going to have to take an even bigger role in the 49ers offense. With Samuel being out for potentially 4 months, 3 or 4 months now, which means he'll probably miss the first month of the season, and it's going to probably take a few weeks because he's going to miss training camp and everything else in between. Brandon Ayuk, his role is going to have to be even bigger because Samuel had a humongous role in the development of what's going to happen with quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo.
You're right.
Now, is this the type of injury, Kyle, that could be a death blow to the 49ers season if he cannot? Because you guys think it's going to take at least 6 to 7 weeks for him to come back, because even though it's 12 to 16 weeks, he's got to get in football shape.
Correct.
He's got to get his timing down. He's going to probably miss half. He's going to be not himself for the first half of the season. Could this be a season-defining injury for the 49ers at this point in June?
No, not necessarily. Obviously, it hurts for him to not be there, and Emmanuel Sanders is no longer the roster either. I totally support that. Sweeney was an option that gives you multiple tiers for what he can do and support. He can catch the ball out of the bubble screen, do some nice moves, make some dancing and running happen. He can hit you with length as well. But we all know that passing game goes through George Kittle first. Okay, call that what it is. Also, they do a lot of work with the fullback more than a lot of teams in the NFL. Give credit to, as much as certain people want to hate on Kyle Shanahan because they can't get over the fact that their team couldn't handle adversity in the Super Bowl. I can't help them with that. But what I will say is, I can hear your grumble too. Damn it, Cal. But what I will say is that you obviously don't want Sweeney to be hurt. But let me tell you this positive, Danny Thompson. It gives Brandon Ayuk, who you mentioned, an opportunity to get tons of reps that he would not have in camp. And with Sweeney still there, he'll be in position to coach him and mentor him, show his value to the organization, right? If he's in a position where Ayuk under Sweeney's tutelage performs, Sweeney now is actually.
You mean Sam? You mean Samuel? You say Sweeney? Deebo Samuel.
Thank you.
You think of Dabo Sweeney? You think of Clemson?
Yeah, it's my bad. I'm sorry. But at any rate, Samuel. Yeah, it's Dabo, Sweeney, Deebo, Samuel. Excuse me.
Your excuse.
And then there's Sanders somewhere in there too, who just left.
Emmanuel. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. 6 degrees separation. But continue.
But Deebo Samuel's, if he's able to mentor the rookie into performance, it only increases his value to the franchise. So it would be almost as if a gas would be lost, right? Or filled, and then as Samuels comes back onto the field, he provides another target that guys have not been scouting for throughout the season, and he could provide a little boost later in the season to bring the surprise and a new element that teams would not have prepared for. It's a very interesting concept.
On top of that, there's another receiver that really didn't get a lot of pub last year because he was hurt on his own injury last year. That's Dante Pettis, a guy the 49ers was hugely on last year. He might do what Deebo Samuel did last year when he was out due to injury. So there's plenty of guys in the 49ers. Okay, for me, that might mean you might have to go out and get a veteran wide receiver in the beginning of training camp once we get everything lifted. The Niners. Well, I mean, you now it makes a bigger onus because George Kittle is arguably the best wide receiver, tight end, wide end, tight receiver you can call him in the NFL.
Target.
Pass catcher.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just call him.
Between him and Travis Kelce, they're the best two targets. We're going to call them target players in the entire NFL at that position. So, on top of everything happening in the NFL, let's transition into good old college football. We did talk about earlier today about Alex Women's question, will there be a season? On the college side of things, that might be a little bit more of a question mark. With schools going back and players are catching COVID, in Kyle's case, like you said, 3 players at UCF, was it 6 players at Houston, 13 at the University of Texas, other players across the country, other schools across the country, players are getting hit with COVID. And it's scary. Like, you have universities still worried about, are they going back to school? So, yes, the colleges are open back up for players to start back workouts and everything else. But even my fire alarm will tell you the same thing. It might be a beeping problem. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby Blackjack. That was brilliant. First, props to Valor for working with the smoke detector, and it's getting it cut on the demo floor somewhere. No, listen, you're right, and it could actually be something to where we again. I'm fully prepared to see a college football season where several colleges play and several don't. Like you don't have the whole full 100+ docket they're in. You got some that'll be there and some that won't. I think it'll be dictated by two things: A, how many cases pop up in each regional area, and B, what the budget for each program is. Right.
So, Kyle, what you're telling me is that the Duke Mayo Bowl might not go down?
I'm sorry to break it to you. You need a hug, big guy?
Well, the good old Belk Bowl was renamed yesterday. For those who don't watch college football, the Belk Bowl's in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's been renamed from the Belk Bowl to the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl, or the Duke Bowl. And also they have the Duke Classic, which is now their version of the Kickoff Classic, starting in 2021. But the headliner won't be until 2023, where Clemson and Georgia will play in Charlotte in 2023 to kick off the season.
Now that's intriguing.
Yes. Not enough meat to eat a tomato and mayonnaise sandwich like Luke Kuechly did during the announcement, but very interesting. Listen, speaking of home games, Alabama and Ohio State have agreed to play home-and-home college football. Yay! Wait
a minute. Nick Saban actually played a Power 5 conference scheduled an away game with a Power 5 conference somewhere on the schedule?
A home-and-home series. It's not happening until 2026, but we're getting it.
Listen, that's still unprecedented. I guess
Ohio State and Alabama will play 2 games I think it's 2026 and 2027 in that ballpark time frame.
So what that taught us is that sometime in the next 5 years, Nick Saban's going to retire.
Listen, either that or Ohio State. Well, it's still Ohio State at the end of the day. They still can't beat Michigan. All right, but
burn. Not accurate, but burn. Anyway,
listen. Ohio State's won long enough.
Listen, I'm a Jim Harbaugh fan, man. You're talking to the wrong guy, bro.
Well, speaking of wrong guys, Major League Baseball might actually got something going on right.
Well, let's not go that far.
They might have gotten something right. So the union has proposed a counter proposal to Major League Baseball's owners' laughable offer the other day. So the players were upset about the number of games being played. So now they've counter proposed to a 70-game season that starts on July 19th through September 30th. All right. Okay, here's the part that's great. They have told Major League Baseball, all the people who've been working with COVID, that you do not want to play baseball in October. We're about to drag baseball into October, looks like. The season's from July 19th through September 30th. The players will have full prorated play for the entire season, none of the partial stuff. They're also asking for spring training to be 3 days. June 26th through June 28th will be spring training. It's only going to be for 3 days. Okay? Not sure how much work you're getting in 3 days, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Now,
they need to be reminded what a bat looks like or something. Whatever, dude.
Listen, this just sounds disastrous. You thought basketball was bad. 3 days of spring training? Ugh. All right.
I never said basketball was bad. I'm kind of impressed. I'm kind of curious to see how the NBA experiment will go, but I think we'll talk about that a little later.
Listen, I'm going to explain some of the NBA stuff real quick, including why ping pong is the reason why I think they should shut this down. But key things is they're expanding the playoffs over the next 2 years to 16 teams. For those scoring at home, half of baseball will be in the playoffs. This is looking like college football over again, where half of college football makes bowl games because there's 96 bowl games and 110 teams. Half of the baseball teams will be in the playoffs.
Or it'll be like the NBA where there's so many teams that make the playoffs.
But there's a difference, though. Baseball should not have 16 teams in the playoffs. This isn't hockey. This isn't basketball. Okay? This is baseball. All right? I'm a Mets fan, but if the Mets gets in as an 8th seed in the playoffs? Listen, does anybody want to see the Florida Marlins somehow make the playoffs? I don't.
Listen, when it comes to playoffs, I'll do another famous press conference from the NFL to state your opinion. When it comes to the playoffs, I want winners. Okay? But you don't get that with the 8th seed.
Baseball should not have 16 teams in the playoffs. Also, it's going to be a universal DH for the next 2 seasons. So, I mean, pitchers won't be hitting for themselves. Great. I'm fine with it. Also, the teams will be granted permission to sell advertisement and patches on their jerseys for the next 2 years. Listen, they got to make their money back. These owners got to make their money back somehow. So if they're walking around look like a Yelp ad, don't be mad at me. All right.
Hey, it worked in the MLS and in the European soccer leagues, man.
Listen, have you seen what those players make overseas?
I have actually, and they do it in pounds, not dollars in some cases.
Cristiano Ronaldo makes more than the entire MLS by himself. All right. Now, also, a few other things before we get into this. They're giving $10 million for social injustice, and $50 million is going to be transferred from the joint funds to the commissioner's discretionary fund, which means the commissioner will have $50 million to distribute money how he sees fit, with $10 million going to social injustice. Okay, so this sounds like a better proposal. Now, let's get approved. I think the owner's major part is the full prorated pay. They wanted a partial prorated play to play 60 games. The Major League Baseball players say, yo, we got to get paid. So we've watched Rob Manfredi backpedal more than Deion Sanders back in the 1990s trying to cover wide receiver. I got a feeling this is about to be the same thing again. I don't know if we're getting baseball back.
As I understand it, the difference between the two deals is $300 million. You led the segment by saying, oh, look, no, I don't think it's going to happen either.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of money being left on the table. Rob Manfredi better get this thing going, because here's the thing. We lost baseball. This will be the second time baseball's lost a large part of its season for something that the third time in 10, 20, 30 years since the strike year, 94, that we've lost baseball over foolishness. And this time we lost baseball over foolishness during a global pandemic.
Yes.
I can't with baseball sometimes. All right. So, Kyle, here's a great turn in sports today. Now, this could be something that is going to be detrimental to the basketball. We just talked about basketball a second ago. Mm-hmm. Renee Montgomery of the Atlanta Dream is the second WNBA player this season to take the season off due to social injustice. The Atlanta Dream guard decided today, before the team this afternoon on Twitter, social media, that she will be stepping away from basketball to help with social injustice issues in America and using her platform to help bridge a lot of the gaps. This is now the third WNBA player who stepped away this season, actually third, because Maya Moore has been out for over 2 years fighting social injustice, especially with the court case of an inmate. I want to say I forgot what state it's located in. And then also Amani McGee Stafford decided to leave the WNBA to go pursue her law degree so she can help fight social injustice before everything happened in America. She did this a couple of months ago. Now you have 3 prominent WNBA players who are stepping away due to social injustice. Why do I bring this question up? The NBA has had issues and players concern themselves about taking time off due to social issues and not going back on the court. As you're watching this show right now, is June 18th. The NBA has basically told all players you got till June 24th to make your final decision on whether you're going to play or not. This could cause something huge, because if players are stepping away, like we said, we talked about Kyrie Irving, who's not playing in the playoffs, but guys like Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard, among others, who have talked about the NBA should take itself away from some time to deal with social injustice. Listen, in the new ruling that it came out with the handbooks and everything in between, with the COVID-19 and the NBA and the bubble, there are kind of provisions that players still get paid if it was for health reasons. Mm-hmm. Okay. Or for personal reasons. I got a feeling we're going to have a few players step away because of this. Now, if the Lakers case, if the Lakers lose 2 of their key guys off the bench, or guys are starting to lose, it would not shock me if more players take a stand with this, because they're talking about NFL players also talking about stepping away as well too. Could the WNBA be a trend setting for men and women stepping away from their teams and sports?
I mean, listen, it could. Kyrie Irving coming out and making his comments, as we talked about on Monday, might be the first you heard of it in the press. But of course, that the WNBA, the ladies that have done this certainly are setting the trend, right? I mean, you're talking about one that went back and is using her law degree.
She's going to go get her law degree.
Excuse me. Thank you. I misstated.
No problem.
Who's pursuing a law degree, leveraging the cash that she's getting as an WNBA player to get a law degree. I mean, a late in life scholarship. I love it. Right. So, What's that?
No, you continue.
Yeah, no, I mean essentially mean that her WNBA salary is being turned into a late in life scholarship. That's kind of what I mean. But in this particular case, I can see a theoretical path fiscally where you could transition from being a WNBA player, and eventually, if you're in the game long enough as a lawyer, not only could you make as much eventually, you would be making a lot more of an impact about an issue that you're passionate about. I see a
And
win there, but I don't know that a lot of other guys like the NBA guys or the NFL guys would have that option. Go ahead, Danny.
no, but you also about this. Before Renee did it, Renee's one of the best players in WNBA, one of the best point guards in the league, and Stafford was one of the better big post players in the league. Maya Moore was arguably the best player in the WNBA, arguably one of the biggest and the most popular players in the league.
Right.
She stepped away in the middle of her career. She wasn't in the downslope of her career. She was in the middle of her prime, and she stepped away.
Yeah, I'm taking nothing from that.
Yeah, so it's making changes because if you think about this, and the NBA guys decided, some other guys decided to take the time off, and to fight social injustice. It's going to start a trickle down effect. The effect will start, and then you're going to start seeing more and more of this happen. And I think it's a great thing. Like I said, when the question's asked about what do I feel about should players go back or should they not go back? If they don't go back for social injustice, they decide to use their platform to help bridge that gap in the America's divide of social injustice right now, I'm all for it. If that is how you feel, then great. I support you. If they go back to play sports, it's understandable. I understand both sides of it. I'm not taking offense on which side's which, because I see both sides of it. I see the positives. I see the negatives of both sides of it. The negative for the players that are going to stop playing, in the NBA's case, is called a collective bargaining agreement. And all the leverage they have earned all those years is gone. That contract gets ripped up. And you think the owners are not going to play fair after you've costed the owners almost it'll be a $1.2 billion loss if they don't finish the season? Oh, you talk about baseball having a nasty contract dispute? Wait till the NBA owners get their hands on the players if the season doesn't finish. So it's the catch-22 of both of it.
Well, and let me add this to it, Danny. I don't think this is something we've thoroughly explored with this concept yet. What I get worried about with players sitting out to pursue, or sitting out to use their platform to get involved with the campaigns against social injustice. Don't they need to be playing for their platform to be powerful, right? In not playing, is it possible that they would take steps back just because they're not in the media so much? I mean, unless what their efforts are doing keeps them in the limelight enough, okay, fine. But especially in the case of, those who aren't in the NBA or in the NFL or one of the major sports leagues in the country, is it possible that them not playing would take away from their platform a little bit and make them less prominent to where their efforts would be seen? You know what I'm saying?
No, and that's the argument that a lot of people have said. You should play and use your platform while you're playing to elevate the causes. So that's why I say you see both sides of it. Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm not trying to say that's easy.
No, it's not easy. But also at the same time, when you're inside a bubble, how can you be out in the actual areas fighting for social justice when you're inside a bubble because you can't go anywhere? Now, I'm going to talk about this bubble in a second because this bubble is very interesting in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So the NBA bubble, I'm going to give you a couple of things about the NBA bubble and the one thing I hate the most. The NBA teams, once again, like I said earlier, allowed 37 people to go with them for the 22 teams that are headed to Orlando at the end of the month. All right, so 17 of those are players and 20 include coaches, equipment managers, I would even say PR people. They have 20 other people, security, everybody else. All right. So for those players, there'll be nobody else coming on this bubble. Okay. Now, if a player decides to step off this bubble, if you decide to step out the bubble, you're quarantined for 14 days, your salary is taken away, and you're away from your team as well, too. Anywhere from 10 to 14 days. So if a player gets hungry, wants to go to get a Zinger Mountain Melt at Ale House, don't do it. Now, they've also said in this process that if you get an excused absence to leave the bubble,
air quotes, right,
you're okay. They also want players to wear a a device on their finger that can track you getting COVID. To quote unquote Kyle Kuzma, a tracking device. It's the size of a male wedding ring that goes on your finger that has sensor detectors to let you know if you've contracted COVID within 40 hours and the symptoms. All right, this sounds like some Iron Man 3 type stuff. All right, I mean, literally, you're walking around with a coat on. Okay, Kyle Kuzma called it a tracking device. So the players have so many things to do on, I'm going to call it Basketball Island. If Dana White can have Fight Island, I'm calling this NBA Island, okay? Basketball Island, there's just nobody named Tattoo saying, hey, boss, the plane. There's none of that on there. All right. So in Basketball Island, you have Xboxes, you have pool tables, you have ping pong tables. This is the reason why the NBA is not going to work. All right?
Because ping pong?
You can only play singles in ping pong inside the bubble. Doubles is prohibited.
That's true.
You can. How you doing, Precious? By the way,
welcome.
there's no doubles because of the 6 feet rule. Also, this detector will tell you if you're not 6 feet from somebody. I guess it'll bling, make a noise. I don't know what it's going to do. It might call up one of the Ewoks from Star Wars, since Disney owns Star Wars. Who knows? Listen, I would say Oompa Loompas, but I don't think that Disney has the Oompa Loompas.
They got Wookiees, right?
Yes, exactly. If you break the rule, then Jabba the Hutt comes out. What I'm saying is, they have detectors where you're keeping you 6 feet apart. All right, but the players can't play doubles in ping pong. This is a problem for me. This is a problem. Why is this a problem for me? Kyle, you listen. I play ping pong. All right. Now, I'm not Forrest Gump, but I don't have my Flex-like ping pong paddle. I don't have one of those. But when I play ping pong, I love playing doubles. It is what it is. I can't do all the work all the time. Not as mobile as I used to be.
That's why I'm here. No, I get it.
But you cannot play doubles. You're prohibited playing doubles. How can you play a game of How's pool going to work? With a 6 feet rule, how's pool going to work?
I mean, the other player has to be a cue length away. Listen.
Like, okay, you're gonna play Madden with somebody because guys can't be in each other's rooms, so you're basically quarantining these guys to their own spaces. All I'm saying is, I can't play doubles in ping pong. They should shut this thing down right now because of ping pong.
You know what? I think BB-8, as Bobby mentioned, would be a bigger threat to the bubble than this wild theory you got, man.
Listen. When I saw Woj tweet that out, of all the things we're complaining about, it's doubles and ping pong is the one thing that got me. All right, Kyle. It's time for our favorite segment. It's time for our most favorite and most fun segment of the night. Good old Mount Rushmore.
Back by popular demand.
Yes. So tonight's Mount Rushmore topic, Kyle, is listen. All right, so for those who didn't watch the show on Monday, we talked about the Mount Rushmore of tailgate foods. We did also home tailgate compared to at-game tailgate. Kyle's also done his Mount Rushmore beers. Tonight, Kyle, we're going to do something a little different tonight, Kyle. What is your Mount Rushmore of ice cream?
Yo. Hey.
And Bobby, we're going to get you to jump in this in a second. So, Kyle, I'm going to let you lead off this one.
Listen up. First of all, let me tell you up front, ladies and gentlemen, you are asking for trouble with this one. I'm a man who's still over 300 pounds, and I've been on a diet since damn February. I've had naughty dreams about ice cream for the past few months. Anyways, so keep in mind when we're talking ice cream in this particular instance, if I mention a particular topping I like within it, I'm counting that as a flavor, and that's just going to be a thing I do. Okay. Getting off with it, doing the thing right here. First of all, if you can bring me in a world of happiness, nothing gets you going. If you're someone like me who's efficient and likes to multitask, despite the fact where men allegedly can't multitask, hey, don't tell that to my guy Danny Thompson and all the stuff that we do together when we perform. I'm just saying. And hey, Bobby Blackjack can also multitask. He keeps us going and is about ready to drop some fat opinions in his own second here. Anyways, I don't know. How did I get there? Anyways,
all right, Kyle.
I'm saying I got talent. That's all.
Talent. Kyle, stop dancing like Floyd Mayweather. Where's your Mount Rushmore ice cream?
I'm gonna dance like Floyd Mayweather. I don't want Precious to knock me out like Tyson. I ain't trying to get that kind of trouble right now. No. But listen, for me, that efficiency that I could get with multiple dessert action in one awesome swing, give me a little bit of that cookie dough. That's what I'm talking about. Cookie dough ice cream. It's a good place to be, folks. By the way, if you happen to be a fiend who deals in caramel, like I listen, as a kid for one of my birthdays, my mom made a caramel birthday cake. If you don't know, find out about it. Breyer's Dulce de Leche. I said it. What? You fronting on me, Danny Thompson?
I'm just listening, sir.
No, Precious. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just making sure that Danny's on board. Next. For those who haven't tried it, for those of us, let's go to the more adult portion of the world. There was one of these times where you're walking through the grocery store. I won't name the grocery store in question because it might get me in trouble based on what I do at my day job. But I will say this: I did find myself an opportunity walking down the ice cream aisle one particular time when I wasn't feeling so good. I was a little bit under the weather. Basically, my entire house was, because I have kids. But there was a 2-for-1, Danny Thompson, and Haagen-Dazs had a 2-for-1 Bailey's Irish Cream ice cream. Holla at your boy. Anyway, so that'll be my number 3 spot. And to round it all off, listen, folks, if you've done anything to frequent a Dairy Queen, you know of the joy that is the Dairy Queen Blizzard. But now later they've brought it to life in the form of another Breyer's ice cream. Reese's Peanut Butter Cup rocks my socks, Danny Thompson. Now, I didn't go in for the conventional strawberry or chocolate. I got kids. That's where they live, okay? They do the basics. I've evolved next level. I've whirled things into my ice cream and made it something special. And, you know, not to mention, I'm going to give an honorable mention. Give a little Ben and Jerry's out there. Have you had Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream?
I have not.
Another fine effort in dessert multitasking and efficiency. It's actually got little pieces of cone in it too. It's wonderful. So there's that. Precious, see, thank you. I am glad I can serve, Miss Precious.
All right. So Kyle, go ahead and repeat your Mount Rushmore of ice cream.
Man, when I'm performing, you got to write that down. You're acting like I'm going to remember all this.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Cookie dough, Dulce de Leche, Bailey's, and
then the last one you just mentioned,
the Peanut Butter Cup.
Peanut butter. All right, Bobby. My man Bobby Blackjack up in New Jersey, also in the studio tonight. Bobby,
What's up?
You got? What's your Mount Rushmore ice cream? What you got?
Unfortunately, Kyle stole my thunder. Chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream is the best ice cream out there. You find yourself actually like on a mining mission trying to find actual chunks of cookie dough. There's one thing better than that, and that's the actual cookie dough itself. You could buy in a container and eat that directly.
Tell it, Bobby.
I would say anything with vanilla, like a caramel butterscotch swirl in it. I love. I think that's fantastic. And you know what? Every so often, it's kind of bland, but a good old fashioned mint chocolate chip in a summer day, nothing beats it.
So you put toothpaste on your chocolate. Okay.
Okay, that's 3, Bobby. What's the 4th one?
I'm trying to think. There was a Ben and Jerry's I like a lot too. It was which one is the one I can't think of off the top of my head. You got me stumped here. But I will say though, if you want to go buy ice cream truck, nothing beats the Bomb Pop.
Okay.
Hey, listen, that could be 4. That could be 4. All right, so
now hold up. I got to give Precious her love. Listen, butter pecan for me is definitely an honorable mention. It was a go-to for both my parents. We're not dissing butter pecan. If we ever party, Precious, I'll make sure I have a carton with me. It's gonna be all good. I promise.
all right, so it seems like everybody has different opinions on best ice cream flavors. So let me go ahead and give you mine. All right, so you're leading off. Yes, I'm gonna agree with both of you guys. Cookie dough ice cream is like, it is what it is. All right. Cookie dough ice cream is probably arguably, it's almost GOAT level. It's like it's the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of ice cream flavors. Okay. It's right there, and it's right there. Like I say, it's right on the cusp of being great. All right. Now, what is considered the GOAT to me, like I said, cookie dough ice cream is great, but cookies and cream.
Okay.
You cannot go wrong with Oreos, cookies, and cream on this list.
So if, let's say, chocolate chip cookie dough is Bill Murray, but Oreo cookies and cream is Robin Williams. Okay, I get behind that.
Listen, I'll compare it like this. When you watch a Will Ferrell and John Riley movie, it's like watching Talladega Nights.
Okay.
You got Ricky Bobby and you got Cal Naughton. That's how cookies and cream and cookie dough rock together. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, Danny, tread lightly. Here we go with this. All right. So
he's on your case. He's got you. And listen.
All right.
I found out alive. I'm just saying.
All right. So I'm going to go back on the Ben and Jerry's. Now, for me, a flavor that's always been slept on, bourbon pecan pie ice cream by Ben and Jerry's.
Wait a minute. That's fancy. That's fancy butter pecan. Precious has been, the demons have been exorcised.
Listen, bourbon pecan pie ice cream by Ben and Jerry's is literally, it's like watching Stone Cold Steve Austin in the 90s. All right. That ice cream is phenomenal, okay? It's like a Stone Cold Stunner every time you take a bite. All right.
You're so deliciously Southern, Danny Thompson. You're the one bringing pecan pie to the ice cream battle. I love it.
All right. Now, butter pecan is on the list as well, too. But here's the thing. It gets slighted only because...
a snub.
Yes, it gets left off the list. Because Ben & Jerry's also... Between this Ben & Jerry's flavor and Bluebell's version of butter pecan. If you've not had Bluebell's butter pecan, it is fantastic. But Ben & Jerry's also has a flavor called Tonight's Dough, which is based off the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
How are we friends, Danny Thompson? How are you promoting that hack, Jimmy Fallon?
Because it's ice cream. Because the ice cream is ice cream, not the show. It's the ice cream.
Okay.
All right. The ice cream is on Tom Brady level. Okay.
Which
it's on Tom Brady level.
Like a giant fraud, like Jimmy Fallon. Is that what you mean? I said it.
It's going to have its own Netflix series because it does. You know what? I'm not going to continue that.
I'll say this, man. All I'm admitting to is that you're a more powerful man than me. Okay. It's to separate the man from the dessert. Good for you. It's a me problem. I'll admit.
Listen, you might want to try it, but listen, that bourbon pecan pie ice cream, Kyle, is like literally watching in your eyes watching an offensive lineman have the perfect technique with the perfect ability to block and stop every single swim move, power move, bull rush move possible. It is like literally watching Anthony Munoz on a Sunday afternoon. Larry Allen, okay, that's how great that ice cream is. All right. It's on Larry Allen level of greatness on offensive lineman.
Man, listen, I've never had a dude talk to me about other grown dudes and make me drool so hard before. I'm with you, man. Okay. You told me.
Now, Jamal Darby said he mint chocolate chip. What's with this mint chocolate chip? Here's my question, Bobby. And Jamal, I got a question for both of you. If Jamal's still in the chat. And Bob, here's my question. It's mint and ice cream. How does that work? How does that work?
Refreshing. It's refreshing.
That's good when you are. You know, if I can record it, it's refreshing. Kyle, every time you say something from now on, it's going to be, it's refreshing. I don't, now,
listen,
I've never been big on mint ice cream. I never have been.
I am not a fan of mint chocolate chip. I don't put chocolate on my toothpaste, but the defense I will offer Bobby Blackjack is he's giving me the York peppermint patty defense. I get the sensation of, So
exactly.
My man Jamal Darby posted, said in the chat, it's perfectly, that's how. Obviously, it might be better than the Panthers defense.
Way to set the bar nice and low, Chief.
I'm just saying, what more do you want from me? It's disgusting.
Precious says we're right. That's good enough for me.
It is what it is.
Let me tell you, the best ice cream I ever had in my life was down in Philadelphia when an ex-girlfriend of mine, It was an ice cream shop somewhere downtown Philadelphia. It was vanilla ice cream, butterscotch topping, filled with chocolate chip cookie dough and peanut butter cookie dough mixed in.
Yo, you talking?
My God, it was almost divine. It was almost like going to heaven.
See, that's what I'm saying. That is better than mint chocolate chip. Sorry, Jamal. I love it. So that's this week's episode. This episode of Mount Rushmore. Yes, Rodney. Thank you. Throw it up. It's like literally mint chocolate chip is literally like watching Clemson football. All right. Before Dabo got there.
See, I'll put it this way. I think the ice cream Mount Rushmore segment that we had is the most controversial so far.
I don't know, because last week, I mean, listen, Monday's one's gonna be even better than this one. Rodney Richardson posted, "I'm lactose." So was the Panthers defense. They were Swiss cheese all last year. But I'll continue. I digress.
Apparently his team is defense intolerant. Is that what you just said?
Tackle intolerant, pass coverage intolerant. Best part of the team is the mascot. But I digress. Listen, Jamal and Rodney are both from Charlotte. I love those guys. Speaking of Jamal and Rodney, they have an outstanding show every single Sunday called Under Construction. If you're a fan of all types, not just sports itself, they go into all different topics. Jamal, Rodney, and my main man Kaiser, they put on an outstanding show every Sunday. It's on YouTube and maybe some other places pretty soon. But check those guys out. Under Construction on YouTube. Outstanding show. Like I said, if you're looking for something that encompasses not just sports but just all forms, media, public, current events, everything, check those guys out. Not because I told you to, because it's actually really good watching. And Jamal said Ben & Jerry's ice cream is like the 2001 Allen Iverson. They didn't win anything.
I was about to say, what? Good enough to do absolutely nothing but disappoint you?
Win one finals game? Does it? You know what? It does. It does remind Allen Iverson. It makes me want to step over it. It makes me want to step over it.
Wow. You did you just compare that to Lou? Is that what you just did?
Yes. Listen, mint chocolate chip ice cream is Tyronn Lue, and I'm Allen Iverson. I'm stepping over it.
I've never compared an ice cream to Lou before. That's awesome.
Speaking of comparisons, Kyle, if you had a chance to watch me and the Controversial Raphael show on Sunday nights called Top 10, we were going over. We do top 10s every Sunday night. Big shots to 3-point conversion. In one segment, we compared Marshall Faulk's 2000s era to Kaya and Biggie, all in the same 4-minute montage of Facebook greatness. I'm just going to say that. But
I'll allow it, man. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
I'm going to troll you if y'all lose to the Panthers. Listen.
How was that different than normal, Rodney? I mean, come on, brother.
Listen, Rodney, I'll tell you this, and I'll put this on air. I'll put this on television. It's on Blackjack TV as well as Facebook. If somehow the Kitties beat my Falcons, I will go ahead and I will fund Under Construction's food for the next Sunday in Charlotte. I will come on the show, and we will eat, all 4 of us, on air. And it'll be at my expense, and I'll bring Bojangles. Y'all pick the sides.
And that means, by the way, that's out of his pocket, because I'm not brave enough to take that damn bet.
Because I know the K's ain't winning that game.
But hey, at the end of the day, I'm not a Falcons fan either. So,
if Rodney or Jamal is still in the chat, if y'all want stakes on deck, listen, I didn't say stakes. See, y'all changing the rules. We all want to. I said Bojangles with sides and tea. All right, Rodney for.
I love it.
Kyle, any shots before we got here tonight?
Man, listen. First of all, shouts to both you guys, Bobby, as usual, supporting us. Danny Thompson for keeping me in the game, and let me give a shout out. It's coming up soon. I pushed it up the ranks because you and other friends of mine have shown interest. The Harlem Nights required viewing on Hilarity by Default's Default Assault will be coming. It's at the top of the list. He's going to edit it. It'll be out in the next couple weeks. So look for that. I'll let you know. You'll hear about it here and all the various other social medias where you can find me. My Twitter at the SOTG, my Instagram, the ESOTG, my Facebook page of a student of the game. And all that. And hey, you know what? I'll probably shout it out on Captain Company in the morning too, because he's a good movie guy as well.
Go big or go home on the meal. It's funny when it's coming out of my pocket.
Wait, hold on.
And
How is a fucking Bojangles chicken with size and tea not big?
all right, so Jamal, I'll even do jerk wings. I ain't buying steaks for Rodney. That's not happening. All right, Jamal, I'll do wings. I'll do wings and drinks. If the Kitties somehow win this game against the Falcons, which will not happen, I will provide wings and drinks, and we'll do the show all together, all four of us. Fair enough? I'll wait for him to respond. But also, Bobby, any shouts for we head out tonight?
Now, I just want to say, by the time we get back on the air on Monday, it'll be officially summer. So, hey, welcome summer. It's going to be the oddest summer of our lives, but summer's here.
I mean, wasn't the spring part the oddest part of the year? Why not? The whole year's like Jumanji anyway, so we might as well continue through the whole month of July. On our end, big shouts to our good friends at Valor, which you see in the top under my finger right here. Valor, it's Valor ITS, Valor VALOR.us. Thank you, Jamal. All right, shout them out if you're looking to expand your horizons, as well as if you're looking in the music industry to grow with a company that's able to get you to the next level. Check out my main man Jay Waddell and all the crew over there at Valor. Also, if you're looking for a haircut in the Orlando area and on the sound of my voice on 98.5 The Wire as well too, go check them out at Mentality Barbershop at 2611 Pine Hills Road in Orlando, Florida. Also, big shout out to our good friends over at I-95 Sports. Even though we're on Blackjack TV tonight, which is channel 199, we're normally on channel 198 on Monday nights and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, Valor, as you see on the screen right now. Also, big shout outs to all the people in the chat, people who like, share, comment on the show. We do appreciate the love and support of the show. And oh yeah, Jamal, so when the Falcons win, what do I get in return?
Maybe we should save that for Monday.
That's all I'm saying. Because I'm coming out of pocket for 3 of y'all. You know what? We're going to take this offline. I got something for you.
It's good. And hey, listen, props to Valor. We're starting to get word of that remix coming out soon for your Smoke Detector Day.
It is what it is. So for myself, Bobby Blackjack up in New Jersey in the studio, my main man Kyle to the right of me. This is Danny Thompson. We'll check you guys out on Monday night. We'll have a lot more with the NBA, Mount Rushmore, as well as hopefully baseball starting. And guess what? We'll be counting down to the kickoff of women's soccer. So we see you guys. You guys have a safe weekend. Also, happy Juneteenth to everybody that celebrated tomorrow. Be safe. Be careful. Enjoy the weekend. Also, Kyle, it's Father's Day this weekend.
That's right. Shouts to all the Padres out there. And hey, shouts to the NFL for giving the entire league Juneteenth off.
Yes, like I said, for all the fathers out there as well, too. Like I said, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, whether you know Jamal's left the chat. Of course he has. Just like every other kitten fan, you run away from adversity. All right. What? They're the only ones running from a 4-12 season, not me. All right. So for myself, the student of the game, my man Bobby Blackjack up in New Jersey. This is Danny Thompson. We'll check you guys out on Monday night. Have a safe weekend. Peace.